Hello everyone, and welcome to Kat's Corner of the World. I am Kat, and I am here to talk to you about why I am a hot mess today. My hair is gross. It looks like ramen noodles because I just rolled out of the shower, and this is what it does when it dries. My apartment behind me, you can kind of see, is a mess because I halfway unpacked after my trip to California and then stopped because I haven't bought the bins I need to store my clothes in, so I have nowhere to put them. So they live on the floor. I have no real excuse for these things. Now, if someone I care about the opinion of, like my parents, were to ask, Kat, why is your apartment a mess? I would probably say, I'm busy. And that's not a lie, but it's also just an excuse. I feel like a lot of us will use I'm busy as an excuse to not do the things that are the things we should do. Case in point, I haven't been uploading, not because I haven't been recording, because I've actually been recording quite a bit. I've got 6 episodes of Deltarune recorded from like 3 months ago. I haven't been editing, because I don't like editing, because I don't think I'm very good at editing, and Windows Movie Maker is not a fantastic editing program, and la la la. 100 excuses that ultimately come down to I don't want to do it because it isn't easy. It's easy for me to sit down and record and talk to myself in a room because, quite frankly, the only difference from normal is there's a camera running. But sitting down and watching myself and making sure it's quality and making sure it looks good and sounds good and that it doesn't run on too long and that there are no cuts where there shouldn't be, that is not easy. That is time consuming and tedious. And I tell myself, well, you're doing this on your free time. Why should you bother? But why shouldn't I bother? I care about the channel. I enjoy uploading. I enjoy YouTube. So why shouldn't I bother to make it better? The same thing can be said about writing. I still do forum roleplay, not consistently, but I still do it. I still write online. But I haven't sat down and worked on a manuscript properly in months. And I just say, oh, I'm too busy with work. But I still find the time to lay in bed for 3 hours every morning. Or to come home from work and sit and play Guild Wars or Minecraft and just shut off and shut out. To sit down and work on creating something requires work. As validating and fun as it is, it's like going to the gym. Telling yourself to go and getting there, it's horrible. At least it is for me. It's always like, I should exercise on the way. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I'm going to be sore. I'm going to be sweaty. What's the point? All of these things. And then once I'm there and once I finally convince myself to get on a treadmill or an elliptical or a rower or whatever I'm going to be using, once I get there, it feels good. It's like creating. I don't want to start because I don't want to fail. But once I start, I'm so happy. I love writing and I love creating things. But my fear of disappointing people, my fear of failing, makes it very hard to force myself to do that sometimes. Now, I just got back from a little over a week in California, where my best friend lives, along with a lot of other really good friends of mine. I went down for my birthday and I went down for Chuseok, and it was a fantastic experience. It ultimately was emotional, and in some ways it was very painful because there are habits that I have that aren't good. I'm maybe not a lazy person, but I'm cowardly. I don't like to do things that I'm scared of doing. And this also really comes into play in the relationships that I have with other people. Because I will project this concern of mine that I'm not a good person, that I'm not worth being around, that I'm obnoxious or annoying or a hassle onto other people. And on a surface level, it looks like, well, Kat, why would that be a bad thing? You're concerned and you want to make sure that your friends are enjoying your company. That's good, isn't it? And to an extent, yes, it's good to be aware of other people and to be considerate and empathetic to how they might be feeling. But what isn't good is to then use that as an excuse. It's like people who say sorry, but then do the same behavior again. It's not sincere. It feels sincere to me in the moment, but when I step back and I look at, well, how is the other person feeling when I sit there and say, oh, we can do this if you want to, or, well, it'd be nice if it's not, too much trouble, or if you're not tired, or if you're feeling up to it. As soon as you add those tags onto the end, you push a person into almost an obligation. Because if someone comes up to you and says, well, I'd like to do this, but if you're not feeling well, we don't have to, not doing it then becomes they want to, and they're not because of me. It isn't me taking responsibility for my own emotions. It is me projecting that responsibility onto the other person. It stops being just concern or empathy for the other person and starts becoming a scapegoat. I can't say for sure because I'm not a mind reader, but I feel like this habit of mine that I've been slowly working on, but not fast enough, ultimately pushed one of the most important people in my life away from me. Now, what does that mean for the future? I don't know. Sometimes friends part ways and they stay parted. Sometimes they part ways and they come back together. The thing I do know right now is despite definitely hurting over it, I feel that it is important to respect the need for people to grow separately. And I think that it is important to respect that if I'm in a relationship with someone and they aren't happy, then it's not a relationship that I want to be in either. Because I don't want to be the kind of friend that someone dreads spending time with. I don't want the defining part of my relationship to be that I'm exhausting or I'm someone that people speak to out of worry or obligation. I want people to spend time with me and want them to be around me because they enjoy my company. And there are people who do, but I don't want to perpetuate a relationship where that isn't the case. So as much as there's hurt, I'm also, in a way, maybe happy isn't the right word, but it is good to know that we were at a point that she felt she could tell me that she needed to continue on without me there. And I think it's good for both of us that honesty. Now, there were other things about this trip that made it very emotional that I don't really want to get into, but I have feelings that I need to work through. I've got things that I need to work through. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop recording. In fact, I'm hoping that I will be better at recording. Actually editing and actually uploading on a reasonable basis. I am going to try. There are other projects that I want to work on. There's a dialogue tree type game that I've had in my head for a while and I really should do. I need to finish something, even if it's not going to be amazing or fantastic. I need to finish. So I'm going to be working on that. I am looking into other jobs because I'm not satisfied in the job that I'm in right now. I'm not satisfied in the way that I don't feel valued as an employee, and I'm not satisfied in the kind of effort to payback ratio that I get in this particular place. So I am going to stop just using the excuse of I'm tired and actually get into updating my resume and putting myself out there. I'm also considering going back to school. But most importantly, I am really going to try and be focusing on myself because, like I said, I project the fear that I'm not someone worth being around onto the people around me. It's not good for me, and it's not good for them. It's not good for anyone when you sit there and you hide behind a wall of insecurity or concern. I am going to work on focusing on myself a little bit more, focusing on what makes me happy and what I want to do as opposed to what I think other people want me to do or want me to be like. And with that, I'm going to try and really remember this one really important thing. And I'm going to preface it with an allegory. So, there's a game that came out on pre-release recently, The Man of Medan. A lot of YouTubers that I really enjoy watching and look up to have been playing it. Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. And the game itself seems really buggy and not very good for PC. But that is not the point. The point is, this game is basically a game that is built off of two things: dialogue trees and QuickTime events. And in most games that are built on dialogue trees, the answer is always to do something. You act in one way or you act in another way, but you have to act and live with the consequences or reset of that decision. Now, there are a few points in this game where the ideal answer is to not do anything. I feel like we live in a society where people around us, where media, where music, where movies, games, everything is saying you have to do something. You have to take charge and you have to take control and you have to act. If there's someone that you like, regardless of whether or not they're in a relationship with someone else, push because you deserve happiness too. Or if your friend needs time away from you, fight because if it's not worth fighting for, were you ever friends in the first place? But I don't think that this is a correct or healthy way to be. I absolutely agree that if there's something that you want, that it's not wrong to reach for it, as long as you are happy living with the consequences of what reaching will do. If someone says they need time apart from you and you don't respect that, and you try and push, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to be successful and you're going to have a breakthrough and maybe things will work out fine. More likely is going to be that you either push that person away immediately because you're not respecting what they need, or they will give in and you're going to have a tense and toxic relationship because you haven't given them the space that they need. If you choose to pursue someone who is already in a relationship with someone else, one of two things is going to happen. Either you'll be successful, they'll break up with the other person, and you and that person will be able to live happily ever after. Or you run the risk of pushing someone who means a lot to you away. And additionally run the risk of not only not being able to be with that person, but also possibly hindering or damaging or destroying the relationship they have with another person, depending on the course of action you choose to take to do that. I know that for me, doing nothing in this instance is better than doing something, because I don't want to live with the consequences of if things don't pan out. And I don't want to live with the knowledge that to get the ending that I want, to put it in game terms, I would have to make decisions that could hurt people I care about. And for me, that's not worth it. It's not. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. And for a long time, I saw that as cowardice. You know, you're just scared of the consequences. But that is an ideology that is perpetuated by the kind of environment we live in, where we watch movies and TV shows and music videos and all of these things where you're supposed to push, regardless of the best friend or the partner, where you're supposed to make yourself the more ideal one. You're supposed to make yourself chosen over the other person. Or where you become the butt of the joke. If you choose not to act, or if you choose to just be the best friend with one-sided feelings, you become the joke, you become the side character, you never get your happily ever after. And that is not healthy. There's nothing wrong with loving someone from a distance. There's nothing wrong with having feelings for someone who's in a relationship, or for having feelings for someone who doesn't want to be around you. And there's nothing wrong with respecting their life choices alongside your own. It isn't A or B. And I'm at a point in my life where I want to focus more on the gray in the middle. I want to focus on the fact that just because I can't be with the person I want to be with, or I can't be with the people I want to be with, or I can't be in the job that I want, or I can't, just because I can't do something that I want to do doesn't mean that I'm a failure. And it doesn't mean that I'm not doing a good job. And it doesn't mean that I'm worth any less than anybody else. It's important to work to being who you want to be. It is important to pursue your dreams and your goals. But it is also important to understand that just because you're not successful doesn't mean you're a failure. And yeah, I think that's something that more people need to recognize and need to know. And that's it. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of me. I bought a new mic because I'm getting weird feedback if I run the air conditioner when I record. I got new headphones that you will see once I have the new mic. I'm really excited about them. There are some games that are coming out that I'm really looking forward to recording for. I'm definitely going to be recording The Outer Worlds, a new game that Obsidian's publishing. When that comes out, there's another game, Noida, that I would absolutely love to record for. Maybe I'll get a copy of the pre-release, or maybe I'll just buy it when it comes out and I'll record it then. But it looks like it's really good. And I am going to find a way to schedule and juggle my time so that I can do more of the things that I want to do. So I can record and edit and upload. So I can dance, and so I can go out and sing karaoke and drink a little bit too much, so that I can spend time with myself and find people out here in Korea, so that I can find a job that I'm happy in, and that I can find the energy to be around the people who do want to be around me, instead of hiding behind the excuse of I'm tired. So, yeah, I am tired. I'm exhausted, emotionally and physically. I feel like I have nothing left. But I'm also making the decision that despite being tired and being sore and being busy, despite these things, I am going to push myself, and I think I'm going to be a better person for it. So, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, or the next stream, or the next wherever I see you. Bye bye.